Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Standing by with me are two gentlemen, Mr. Baba Usman Engelzerma, who is the Secretary General of the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association, MACBAN, and Barrister Emmanuel Agabkor, the Chairman of the NBA Makurdi branch. Mr. Usman, you were sharing your thoughts with us on this idea asserted by Barrister Agabkor that essentially it's the utterances of your allied associations that have led to the kinds of violence we've seen in Benue State. Please conclude your thoughts.
Well, I would like to tell the barrister that, you see, maybe he don't know that we also suffer a lot of loss in Benue. Just in a span of 40 days today, we lost about 52 people, and we lost over about 4,000 cows as a result of this crisis in both Benue and Nasarawa State. So you see, the crisis in Benue is having a spillover effect on Nasarawa State. So these things, if you look at them, one will agree that the law is not serving the purpose for which it was intended. We are not saying that the law should be totally served, but let's have a look. Let's review the law. Let's make it workable, at least for the two parties to coexist peacefully together. But the way it is now, that is the way the law is being promulgated. If you see, just look at the title of the law. My brother Barisa has a copy of the law. Look at the title. It says, and to open grazing prohibition and ranching establishment. So two things are involved: establishment of ranching and prohibition. So even before the establishment of ranches, the prohibition is taking effect. So it is not made in a way that it will work to solve the problem. This is all that we are saying. So let's have a look at it. Let's work on it. Let's stick together and begin to review. Let's make it workable. Laws are well, the law is being made by the body that is responsible for making laws in the state, which is the State House Assembly. Agreed. We know by implication, by the Constitution, it is supposed to make laws in Benue State. As civilized people, we know, we agree, it has been made by the body that is charged with the responsibility of making laws. We have no quarrel on that.
Before we get into the details of the law, because we will, let me ask you, your tone this morning is very conciliatory. But that hasn't always been the tone of your association, nor the Allied Association, your Allied Association. And I want to ask you, if you're moving forward, if it's the question of how the law can be rejigged or looked at or reassessed, what can your associations do to create the conditions for peaceful dialogue instead of these apparently incendiary and harsh kind of stances in the public eye?
We have been asking for dialogue. We have been requesting for dialogue. Let's sit together. Let's work out how these things will work. We have been requesting for dialogue from the government. But up till today, there's no dialogue.
But if there are two sides, it seems like two sides of the mouth, because on one hand, you're asking for dialogue. On the other hand, you have an allied association essentially declaring a kind of a war.
I cannot speak on behalf of that association. It's not my own association. So that statement should be accredited to that association, not my own association.
Is there not need, though, for some level of synergy between the two? Is there no bridge that can be built between you and the other?
Well, this is how it is supposed to be. But then, why they choose to make their own statements, what can we do? We have not made that statement. We have been working, even before the implementation of the law, we have been working with Benue State government on ways on how we can find peace in that state. The governor can attest to that. We have been working hand to hand with the government. But you see, because these things have escalated to a very serious level of loss of life, it has assumed the level of security. So it has become, it has a lot of security implications now. So, and these things are perpetrated by criminals. The law has given, the criminals are taking advantage of the law and perpetrating their criminal acts. I'm telling you, in a span of just 40 days, we lost about 52 people, about 4,000 heads of cows. People don't know. It's not only the farmers are suffering, even the pastoralists are not spared. Even the pastoralists in Nasarawa today are not spared.
Barrister Agabkor, please go ahead and respond.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, If this association has been working with the Benue State government, it therefore means they were part of the lawmaking process.
We were never part of the lawmaking process.
Please allow him
Into
to
the
speak.
We were never part of the lawmaking
the,
process.
Mr. Usman,
the
please allow
Open
him to speak.
Grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Law 2017. Every person in Benue State, every resident in Benue State, and indeed all Nigerians will avail the opportunity of making inputs into the bill before it was enacted into law. Maybe at the expense of repetition, let me say that public hearings were heard in the 3 senatorial districts of Benue State on this law. And after that, a mop-up public hearing was heard in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. All Benue State indigents and residents, indeed all Nigerians, were invited to make inputs. And very many people made inputs. In fact, I'm in a position to know, so I do know, that about 70% of the law is lettered by people of Benue State outside the Benue State House of Assembly. What do I mean? They drafted by way of recommendation and sent to the House of Assembly. I also sent in my contributions, and so I know that 70% of the letters of the law is from the public, not even from the House of Assembly. Now, be that as it may, if the association does not like the law, let us start with the title. It's talking about the title, Open Grazing Prohibition. Is it the open grazing prohibition that they do not like? And why wouldn't they like it? Because that is supposed to be the vogue, that is supposed to be the best practice across the country. Or is it the ranches establishment that they do not like? What don't they like about it?